You know the story of the Titanic, right? Or at least you think you do. Today, we're diving into a fascinating thought experiment, one that completely flips the script on one of the most famous disasters in history. We're going to ask, what if there was something else out there in the dark? Okay, I know, it sounds completely out there. What if the iceberg wasn't the real story? What if the unsinkable ship met its end not because of a chunk of ice, but because of a close encounter of the most terrifying kind? Because, as we're about to see, this one single change would create a ripple effect that rewrites the entire 20th century. All right, so let's do it. Let's go back to that freezing night in April 1912. But this time, we're looking at it through a brand new and pretty strange lens. How would the story we all know actually change on the ground? Well, for starters, the physical evidence would be totally different. The wreckage at the bottom of the ocean wouldn't show ripped, buckled metal from hitting ice. No, it would show something impossible for 1912. Clean, precise cuts, almost like the hull was sliced open with a laser. And the survivor stories? They'd change from "we saw a huge iceberg" to hushed, terrified whispers of strange lights in the sky, maybe even an unusual craft shadowing the ship. The whole narrative just falls apart. So what happens next? It's not just about rescue ships anymore. It's about containment. You have to put yourself in their shoes. The governments of the UK and the US, suddenly faced with undeniable proof of hostile or at least destructive alien life, their number one priority would be to stop global panic. And the only way to do that is a massive, coordinated cover-up. The iceberg story becomes the official story because it has to be. But here's the thing about cover-ups. They're rarely perfect. And in 1912, you've got this rising superpower, Germany, a hub of industry and science, just looking for any advantage it can get. It's totally believable that their intelligence network in the North Atlantic would have either seen what really happened or at the very least picked up on some major holes in the official story. And you can bet Germany wouldn't just sit on that information. No way. They would move fast. First, you gather intelligence, maybe sending agents to interview survivors with a very specific, very strange set of questions. Then, you launch secret expeditions to the wreck, not for bodies, but for artifacts. And all of that would lead to a top-secret research program with a single, incredible goal: reverse engineer alien technology. And this, right here, is where our alternate history kicks into high gear. Because just 2 years down the road, in 1914, the Great War begins. But in this timeline, one side is holding an ace up its sleeve that is literally out of this world. Forget the 4-year-long, brutal stalemate we all learned about in school. In this world, the war is over in just 3. By 1915, Germany's new U-boats, powered by who knows what, just decimate the Allied navies. By 1916, their bizarre new aircraft dominate the skies over the trenches. And by 1917, it's all over. It's not a victory of manpower. It's a victory of a technological jump so massive, the Allies never even stood a chance. And we're not talking about slightly better machine guns here. Think about it. We're talking about silent, disc-shaped submersibles that move in ways that defy physics. Aircraft with designs that look like they're from 50 years in the future. And maybe, just maybe, they even managed to build their own ship-slicing energy weapons. Germany's victory isn't just a victory, it's a complete technological takeover. So, with Germany winning the war by 1917, the rest of the 20th century becomes, well, completely unrecognizable. The map of the world is redrawn, and the future of human technology is sent down a totally different path. And here's the biggest consequence, the real game changer. The Treaty of Versailles, it never happens. And without that crushing treaty, the very thing that fueled the anger and resentment that led to the rise of Nazism and eventually World War II, it's just gone. That entire devastating conflict is erased from the timeline. But that doesn't exactly mean world peace breaks out. Instead, you get a new kind of global conflict. Our Cold War was about nuclear weapons. This new one? It's a ufological arms race. The other world powers, like the US and what's left of the British Empire, would be desperately trying to catch up, to figure out what Germany found at the bottom of the ocean. It's a global standoff, but with alien tech. And what about the event that started this whole mess? The sinking of the Titanic stops being a famous public tragedy. It becomes one of the most classified secrets in world history. The truth is buried, known only to a tiny handful of people, while the rest of the world goes on believing this simple, sad story of an iceberg in the night. And that's where this thought experiment leaves us. If a story as famous and as well documented as the Titanic could theoretically hide a secret that completely changes the world, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other major events from our past might just be the cover story? What else don't we know?